good. I would go in, I would go out, I would do whatever, I'd come in any hour. Now, I have second thoughts. And I'm hearing it from even Jamaicans. Like, I have friends who, like, I still have very good friends in Jamaica, and they're like, Danny, we don't really roll like that. Like one time, no, if we're not being paid to be out, we're not out. It impacts, I think, returning residents tourism, not tourists, but returning residents who, unfortunately, the government doesn't count. As when they talk about tourists, they're not talking about people like me. Yeah. But it affects us more because we watch the news. Like, I'm online every night watching all the vloggers. I'm online reading all the news outlets. So I'm very much aware of what's happening in the island, and that impacts my travel decisions. It impacts what time of year I come.
There are older people now who want to come out of the cold and go back home and live, and they're apprehensive about that because of the whole crime and violence and the type of thing that's happening there politically. So that has to be cleaned up.
Toronto, a multicultural city whose ethnic diversity is also reflected in its crime statistics.
So there is at some point some form of a stigma that, West Indian men or sometimes Jamaican men were involved in crime in like the 90s. A lot of that is not as prominent or as predominant anymore in the space. I mean, you find that different criminal groups are involved, right? And so it's a different space in Toronto right now where as it pertains to crime. And it all depends on who you're asking and where they live.
Jason Miller from Clarendon, now a reporter at the Toronto Star. His beat, breaking news and crime.
I mean, if you live in Brampton, people are dealing with auto thefts. In Toronto core, it's also a big auto theft issue right now that we're having. And the faces of those people who are behind that is very diverse. I mean, it's hard to really peg it to say Jamaicans are involved more than anyone else.
Despite reporting hard news, he's done cultural stories and interviewed reggae artists like Exco and Cairo, the youngest reggae name to win a Juno.
We, as Jamaicans, influence the Toronto sound. We all know that. Like, this place buzzes. It basically thrives off of the Jamaican experience and culture, and it makes Toronto a very dynamic place that way. For me, I listen to everything.